Welcome back to another episode of Mimi's Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungo Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Saturday for another amazing episode. My God, I don't know what happens. Like whenever I decide to record something, that's when all the noise outside starts happening. Like when I'm just quiet watching something, it's usually quiet outside. No people walking down up and down the stairs, and if they do, they are quiet. But then when I start recording, people start opening and shutting their doors. The motorbikes outside this, and I've complained about this before. I know I'm a broken record. I know it. I know. But today, as I said on last Wednesday's episode, I was recording it, and I'm recording this on the same night. I'm sleepy and I'm just frustrated because I don't want to hear any noise. I don't want anybody to say anything or do anything that is going to make me upset because I'm really sleepy. And even though I'm talking, I thought my sleep was going to disappear, but I'm still very, very sleepy. But right now it's like 12. So it's almost an hour since I started recording the first episode. But this is tough, eh? This stuff. And to make matters worse, I'm very hot. I do not know what's happening. Maybe it's just my house or it's just me and my body, but it's been hot since yesterday. I think it's about to rain because whenever I start feeling so hot that I'm uncomfortable in my house, it's usually when it's about to rain. And a couple of days later or something like that, the rain comes. So I feel like it's about to rain. And I know that is an African superstition mostly, but I feel like it's about to rain any day now. And it's February. It's the beginning of another month, which is something that usually happens. Like every beginning and ending of a month, it has to rain, like sort of to switch from one month to the next. Because I think last week, there are a couple of places that were raining on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, rain might be about to come to Kasarani any day now because the heat I'm feeling is not there. It's just not normal. I'm so warm. Like hot, not even warm. I'm so hot. And I took a cold shower, but and I can't go outside because it's even worse outside, like during the day. And at night it's better outside, but I can't just go and stand outside. So, this heat is going to kill me. I'm very, very hot. Like, I can't imagine living in the West where they have summer and it goes, I don't know to how many degrees. I'd be dying. Because if this is just me, I'm alone in this house, but I feel like just opening the door and the window and everything and sleeping like that. Because this is crazy. I've never wanted an AC in my house, but right now I feel like I need one because this is just not okay. But yeah, that is my little vent. because because I have to. It's just too much. I'm so uncomfortable. And I mean, like a spaghetti top, I do not, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Like I know even if I were to get naked, it still won't make any difference. I'm drinking like cold water from the fridge, still making no difference. Like I drink it, it's like, oh, okay, okay, yeah, nothing. Like I'm not cooling, nothing. But yeah, I don't. That's not today's topic. I'd rather not dwell on that. So today's topic is book lovers like me. Oh my God. Today is Sunday while I'm recording this. Well, already on Monday because it's past midnight. And I do not have tomorrow's story, but I'll have to wake up tomorrow and sit down and write tomorrow's chapter for my blog miliana30.wordpress.com. If you have not read, go there and read something, okay? But yeah, I've not yet written anything because this past week has just been crazy. Like January was so crazy for me. Like today I was asking God, like, this is how you decided my January to begin. Like this is a new year and this is how I've started the year. But yeah, okay. We take it and move on. So I've been reading a lot this year. It has just started. I think I said in the first episode for this year or something like that. I started reading from last year around November, somewhere in November and December, because I was stressed and I was just sad and a lot of other things. And the only thing that kept me sane was reading. Last week, but one, I read like 3 books at a go, but I couldn't write. So it's as if not even reevaluating my life. It's like I'm reintroducing myself to me. Like I'm telling myself, you remember when you used to love reading, you remember how good you used to feel. But then because sometimes I can go crazy on these things, when I started reading, it's like I'm obsessed. And especially when I find a good book, there's a day, I think this was last week, if I'm not mistaken, or that week that I read 3 books within a week. I think I read and I couldn't sleep. I went to bed at around 1 a.m. because I was sleepy, and I went to bed and sleep couldn't come. I just lay there because usually I go to bed and I'm like, okay, let me just try and read one chapter. I never finish. Mostly, I never finish even the chapter, but I'll read like a couple of paragraphs before my eyes start, closing, and then I just turn, leave the phone on the other side, and I sleep. I usually have the phone on reading mode, so don't worry. And the light is like very, very low on reading mode, so I usually fall asleep quickly. Or sometimes I'll put some music in the background and just read and sleep. But then this day, this book that I was reading, it was a 2-part series kind of book. So I was reading the first one, and I started it during the day. But my goodness, have you ever been captured by a story? Like you find, and this is the beauty of reading. For the people who are book lovers, I know you understand this feeling. You start reading a book and you immerse yourself in that story, and you are either playing one of the characters in the book, or like you're a spectator, or I don't know. But I usually put myself in the story, or if the story relates to me, or I just do this thing where I go like, I can picture the characters that are playing this. And this is the beauty of loving movies, by the way, and TV shows and stuff, because you can picture somebody, like, I don't know, these books, which ones were they? Like, let's say the Bridgerton books, because I read them after watching the first Bridgerton season 1. That's when I read them, because that's when I got to know about Bridgerton. So I went and downloaded all of the books and I read them. And I remember it was also crazy, like the way I'm crazy right now reading these books, because I read it and I loved it, because now I had pictures, like I had people I could put in the, different, because even the books they describe, like the Duke was supposed to be, I think, a blonde guy with blue eyes or something like that. But then when you read the book, after you watch Bridgerton season 1, it's not a blonde guy. It's this tall, dark, and handsome guy. But like, you know what I mean. You have a face to put to the story. So while you're reading it, you can see. You go to book number 2, and you're like the Viscount who loved me. And you see Simone, and you see Johnny, and it's like, yeah, you put them there. You put their faces in that story. But then I had already read the books by the time the season 2 came out. And because of that, the bias, I did not enjoy season 2 quite as much as people enjoyed it, because I had read it. And this is the problem with reading a book before you see the movie adaptation or the series in the case of Bridgerton. It makes you feel some type of way. But I didn't like season 2. Season 3, loved it, but they ruined Colin for me. I did not appreciate it. Season 4, I've watched it, and the first half, oh my God. Oh, wait. I can't wait. And I do not know why Netflix are doing that nonsense of splitting Bridgerton series like into 2 parts. It's so. I'm very upset about that. But anyway, the first half, I'm already in love with it. And the problem is that I cannot see many people talking about it online, or maybe it's because my algorithm is still all effed up because of heated rivalry. And that's all I can see: heated rivalry, heated rivalry, heated rivalry. So I don't know. Maybe that's why Bridgerton is not up there right now. But maybe I should start working on changing that algorithm kidogo because it has been crazy. But anyways, I was saying about the books. So like when I read the books, I could picture the people because I watched the first season and every character in the other book sort of the main characters were introduced already in the first book, in the first season. So it was easier to picture them as I went on, even though like the way they were describing them on the books, it wasn't the same because the original books were basically white people. But then with what Shonda has done is changed, like putting inclusivity and everything in the shows so you can understand that. But then these books that I'm reading, actually, let me just say, they're Hitel Rivalry books, the Game Changers series. So actually, I finished them right now. Yeah, I just did the last one because the books that I said I was reading that made me sleep late, I was reading the first one, uh, Heated Rivalry. Actually, not the first one. I started with Heated Rivalry, which is the second book in the series because of the show Heated Rivalry. So I watched the show and then I went to read the books again, like in Bridgerton. But now the difference is these characters, yo, oh my god. I picture them, and again, as I said, they have messed my algorithm. They're all I can see, they're everywhere. So, and I'm loving it, but they're not even complaining about it. So, you can imagine after watching this character and the way this guy, Connor Story, acted Ilya, like he's exactly how he is in the books. And the way Rachel Reed wrote Ilya, the character Ilya, oh my God, oh my god, like Ile is it's the kind of person you'd like to hate but you just can't. And so I've been reading those books, and that time I think I started reading the first one. I started with Heated Rivalry, and it got to a point where it was so juicy. I didn't want to put that book down. Like I say book down, but it was my phone. I went to bed at around 1, as I was saying. Ah, before I digressed, I started reading. I had left it at a particular chapter. I was like, let me just read maybe another chapter before I sleep, or a couple of lines. I ended up reading 4 chapters or even more. I think it was even more because it was one something. I was falling asleep at 4, actually forcing myself to go to sleep at 4. So it wasn't even maybe 4 chapters because I do not take like an hour to read those chapters. They're short chapters. So I think I covered a couple of those chapters in that night and sleep just disappeared. So that ended up, messing my sleeping pattern. And because I slept at 4 and I was up by 7, because I was still buzzing from the book. I just wanted to go back and read it. I wanted to, like, imagine sleeping for 3 hours, man. So I woke up, continued reading, finished the first book on that day, started the second one the same day. I couldn't do anything else. Like, even eating was a chore, taking a shower was a chore. Because why am I putting my phone down? Like, putting my phone down to charge so that I can continue reading. That's the only reason why I took a shower and I ate something that day. Because my phone had to charge. Otherwise, I don't know. Oh my God, I pray for a Kindle one day. I know it also needs charging and stuff like that, but I wish for a Kindle because, hey, I think I just need that. Or maybe live in a library or something. Because when it comes to romantic stories, romantic books, I can read and read and read and read as long as I get a good one. I can read and finish a whole book within a day as long as I have good music in the background. Nobody's disturbing me, nobody is calling me, nobody is wanting anything from me. Like, food is an option in this situation because I just want to disappear in that book. As I said, I put myself in either one of the characters if it resonates with me that much, or I'm just like a spectator in that world of that book. Like, I live in that book and these things are happening around me, the things that I'm reading in that book. Cause tell me why these books they got me on a chokehold. Like the Heated Rivalry books, like the Game Changer books by Rachel Reed. I've read all of them because I started with Heated Rivalry, then I went to The Long Game, and then I went back to the first one, that is Game Changers. Is it Game Changers or Game Changer? Something like that. I went back to that Scott and Kip's story, and then I went now back to the third book because Game Changer is the first one, then Heated Rivalry, and then is it Tough Guy? I think so. I mean, the way they are, I've read all of them within, I think, 2 weeks. This has 6 books within 2 weeks. And the reason it even took me 2 weeks is because when I started the first ones, I didn't start like on a Monday. It was like halfway through the week. And then this past week, I've had to tell myself to put my phone down to do other things so that I don't get lost in the books again. So I've had to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, putting my phone down, keeping busy with other things. So I've been leaving the reading like early in the mornings or late in the evenings, like when I'm going to bed. And usually I'll read like a few lines and then I fall asleep, or a chapter and then I fall asleep. In the mornings, that's when I read for like 2, 3, 4 hours. And then after that, I'm like, I'm done. I'm supposed to be doing 1, 2, 3. I go busy myself doing those other things. So that's why it took 2 weeks. Otherwise, I would have finished them within a week, all of them, if I just didn't have to do any other thing. Like, my love for books is just so, I don't know. And I'm so happy that I'm getting that back because there was a time where I couldn't read also. Like, I just didn't have books. There are a lot of books that are available to download. So I started reading, as I said, from November, I think, and then December. December, how many books did I read in December? I think I read like 3 or 4 the whole of December. I think when I started in November, I read 2. But that's because the year ended with me being in the village. And as I said, I will start reading and my name will get called like to do 1, 2, 3, which I do not mind, by the way. But yeah, and then this January, I've read all of them plus the ones I finished this past week. So the Game Changer series were all 6 of them. And then I read a hard copy, that is 7. Yeah, I think I've read 8 because there was another one online before I discovered the Game Changer books. So I think I've read 8 books so far. That is just in January. And this February, I found another book that I'm supposed to start maybe tomorrow. And we'll see how many books I can read in Feb, considering that it's a short month. I can download PDF formats of different books, which means I can read and read and read. Like, it's my little Kindle. So I can read as much as I want. And just as long as I'm not tired doing it, I can go on and go on and go on. And it's just so amazing. Like, I love reading. And I remember, was it last year but one? I think 2024? Or is it the year before? The year Liam died. I think 2024, yeah. And I was online because I don't know what happened. My algorithm did something and I met this book club. Like, it's a Kenyan book club and they have an Instagram account. So I remember chatting with somebody from there. I was like, oh, I've always been looking for a book club in Kenya. Like, where do you guys meet? Blah, blah, blah. How does it work? But then the person who answered me was like, oh, we only have like 12 members and we select them very strictly. And you're supposed to pay, I think it was 2,000 per month. That is to enable them to buy the book because you pay, and that money that you pay is what buys the new book. And you meet, I think it was once a month as well, in a restaurant in town or somewhere, and then you go through the book club things. Like, you talk about the book that you are reading, blah blah blah, you select what book you're reading next and stuff like that. And I was like, if only I had that kind of money to be just giving away every month, because I would have loved to join a book club. Like, book lovers know this. Sometimes you are reading and you just want somebody to discuss the book with. And that's why I love reading books on Wattpad. Because Wattpad, as much as there's smart over there, like, hey, and fanfics and all of those things, you can find a good book and just read it. And the beauty of it is that after every paragraph, there's a comment section. You can just go there and react. And I feel like it's in real time because, especially if the book is still in progress, like it's being written, the way I'm writing mine, you can go like chapter to, like not even chapter, you can go paragraph for paragraph and discuss whatever it is. Like you react in real time. So you read something and you go to the paragraph, to the comments, and you go like, oh my god, I cannot believe this. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh my god, no. So you can even like tell the creator like, you're why would you do this to us? I remember that these books I was reading in a couple of years ago, I discovered them I think after COVID, and I was reading them, and this author, she would push us, like she would play with our emotions, like play with them. You read something and you start crying and you're pulling, only for the end of it to be like, and the person woke up to realize that it was all a dream. And you're like, what? And she knew how to do it as well. She knew how to play that way. She knew how to make you get in your feels and to just not even realize. But then she did that a couple of times. And the next time I saw something like that, I was like, she's lying. She wants to trap us again, and I'm not falling for it. It's a dream. And then you'll find like, yeah, it's a dream. She played with that thing. And every time people used to fall like for it, because it's the way she was writing them. It was so amazing. And the beauty of it is that you are with other people reading the same thing. And you'll go to this comment section after every paragraph, and you'll find that people have commented, and you find people who have thought the same thing that you have thought. And you can write there and you can like on those comments. And people can also be like, yeah, I also thought that. Or you could do that thing of, yeah, me too. I thought this. And somebody could go like, me too. Somebody else, like you know how that game goes, like everybody will be agreeing with you. So yeah, that's why I love Wattpad, and I love reading stories from there. So like when I'm reading these books, the game changer books, I'm like, I just need people to discuss with me these books. And it's not a genre that many people in Kenya will like. Women might, and some of them might not even say it out loud that they love them, because it's about LGBTQ plus community and all of those things, and people don't like them, or they like them secretly. I do not care. If something is written well, I'll read it and I'll enjoy it. The thing that matters to me is that it's written well. Like it's a story I can fall in love with. And because there's a show, I can see these boys, I can picture them in these books. I'm like, hate me, love me, say that it's wrong, do whatever you want to do. I do not care. Hey, but I wish that I had people to discuss these books with. And I know there are people who discuss them on TikTok, and I think some pages on Instagram, but I don't want that. And I know on Wattpad we do the same, but it's because these books came out a long time ago. I think the first one came out in 2018 or 2019, and so she has been dropping a book ever since. And you know, people have already read them, people have already discussed them in length, and I'm just reading them right now. And I don't know. I wish I had somebody I could sit down with and we could go like, book one, let's talk about this. Like, how did you find this character? How did you? Because as I said, the way Ilya Rozanov was written in the Game Changer series, I love him. I love him. Like, it's the kind of guy you love to hate, but you just end up loving because he's a true enigma. You don't know what he's thinking. You don't know if what he's doing is trying to rage bait you, or if he's just showing you love, or what is happening. Half of the time, half of the people who interact with him do not understand him, apart from Shane. And it's just, I don't know. His sense of humor is amazing. I love Rachel Reed's mind so much for this. And the way he just envisioned this character and he put him to paper, I wish I could get to that point in my writing. Like, I wish I had the money to go back to school and do a class in just writing. Because I feel like even though I'm writing, sometimes I start doubting myself because I'm like, I do not know what I'm writing is being received the way I want it to be received. I do not know if my grammar is correct. I don't know. And I know there are things like Grammarly and blah blah blah. But those things you have to pay for them. I do not have the money to pay for those things. So I just have to go with my gut. Like I read the way I read. So if something feels right, I'm like, I'm going to write it that way. If it doesn't feel right, I'm like, you know what? English is not my first language, so leave me alone. But I wish I wrote the way I read these books that I love so much. Because I read this character and I'm like, I wish I get to that level of creating such a character that is so beloved by a lot of people, even those who want to hate him and they just don't understand him, but they just love him because he's funny and he's, you know, cocky and he's I don't know how to describe him, but Ilya Rozanov was written so well. And I wish I had people to discuss these characters with. I wish I could be like, oh, book number, I don't know, 3, you know, tough guy. Ryan, the way he did blah and blah and blah and blah. You know, the way he did this, you know how Nani did this. Book number, I don't know, 4. You know, remember Kyle and Eric and this and this. Oh, I want a book club so bad. So book lovers who are out there who are listening to this and they're in Kenya, can we do something? Or even if it's around the world. I don't know if this will ever go like public, but if people ever listen to it and they're interested, we can even do like a Zoom one. I don't mind it. Like we just take an hour or 2 hours of a day in a week and we discuss a book. I wish I could just create such a thing like that. And I go online and I'm like, okay, we can be reading these books. The problem is that money, my issue is very like this money is holding me back so badly. I hate it. Because if I had the money, I was sure to get the books that I want to read. I would definitely start a book club. Definitely with like-minded people, people who are not judgmental, people who can read any type of genre. Well, romance, fantasy, mostly, because I'm not interested in, I don't know, terror and I don't know, somebody being killed and no, I don't like pain. I don't like trauma. I don't like it. I already carry enough of that in me, a lot of sadness in me. I do not want to read through a sad thing. Like, okay, this romance might have a sad part and stuff, but at the end of it, as long as there's a happy ending, I'm good. But if there's sadness in it, I do not want it. There are these 3 books that one of my cousins sent me, and she was like, read them. They're like, I don't know, dark romance. Because she said they're dark romance, honestly, I've tried to read the first one and I just couldn't continue because I think in my mind there's that dark romance thing. But also, what does dark romance mean? I need to understand what that means. And in understanding that, I will get to know what exactly I'm getting myself into. And I think that will make more sense. And maybe I can settle down and read them because I think I can try. I'll try. I'll see this week because right now, because I've finished those ones, I said I'm starting another book. But maybe after I finish that, whatever it is that I'm reading right now, I can try and read one of the books she sent me. Because if I get that dark romance thing is not so bad, maybe I'll continue. Because I just don't like sad endings. A romance book is supposed to be, to go through the ups and downs and blah and blah. But then at the end, it's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be good. And usually when I start reading a book like a hardcover, I start with the prologue if there's one, and then first chapter, and then I go to the last chapter just to see these characters that I've met, are they still together? What is happening? I never read the epilogue because that means it's, a while later or something. I read the last chapter. So if it's good, I'm like, okay, let me continue. If it's not, I'm like, I don't want to. There's some books a friend of mine brought to me a couple of years ago. Like it's been long, a couple of years ago, and I've only just started reading them. I read 2 of them in December. They were part of the books that I read in December. There's one that I'm currently reading right now, the one that I said I'm starting to read right now. And then there's another one called Northern Lights by Nora Roberts. So I'm like It's a couple of books by Nora Roberts. I think my friend is really into Nora Roberts, so she just found somebody who was selling them because they're the second-hand books. There are second-hand books. So I think she just went to somebody who had so many of Nora Roberts books and she just bought them. So there are a couple of them. And I think that's what I'm going to be reading this month. And then also add to the dark romance, at least one of them. See if it's interesting enough. If it gets me hooked, like the Game Changer books, I'll be like, okay, I'll read the second and the third. So maybe at the end of the month, I'll tell you how many books I read this February. But I'm thinking it's going to be a lot, especially if my stress levels continue growing because I found that reading relaxes me. It's hard to clear my mind, but if I'm engaging my mind in something different, because like reading, I can only listen to music while reading. I can't do anything else. Like you can't be talking while you're reading, right? And you can't be like cooking while you're reading. So like reading requires you to stop your mind and read. But when it comes to writing, music will be playing in the background and I'm writing, but then I do not know if my mind just like the music moves in me. I don't know, it just messes the pattern and I start singing instead of writing. But when I'm reading, even if there's good music in the background, maybe if I finish a chapter, I could sing out loud to something that I'm listening to. But like it forces my mind to just chill and read and be there. And if it's a good story, then I can just read and read and read and read and read and enjoy it, which has just been amazing this past month because I don't know how I would have made it without the books that I was reading. It has been truly, truly a hectic month. And I'm so glad that it's behind us, but still, this February, because I'm recording this still, like it's the 2nd of February. By the time it will be coming out, it's going to be on the 14th of Feb. Oh my God, on Valentine's Day. Hi, another day, just another normal day. But yeah, happy Valentine's to those who celebrate, okay? But yeah, I'll just be here, maybe reading another book, maybe one of these Nora Robert ones, because there's one that is big. I think I'll be reading that maybe. I don't know. But honestly, I want to have money and I want to have that money. And in having that money, I want to be able to create a book club for like minded people, non judgmental people, people who are open to read any kind of genre that they're comfortable with, as long as it's okay. This is me changing, like mixing myself up because I'm saying any genre, but what I'm really saying is just romantic books. Actually, let me say this, people who are open minded to reading any kind of romantic book, because there's this podcast called Shits and Gigs, and James, he's one of the creators of the podcast. He does these fantasy books. He reads them and he talks to us about them on the podcast. And I've so far followed how many? Like two series of books, and maybe I can download them and read them as well. I hadn't thought about that because the way he explains them is so amazing. But they're fantasy, like with fairies and I don't know, all these supernatural creatures that are just amazing. But the stories are amazing. They're just you fall in love with them and with the characters. And imagine somebody else telling us the story of these books and I've just loved them. And then you go to the comment section and people are talking about them, how they fell in love with these characters the first time they read them. And I'm like, why don't I have that? Like, why can't I afford like a Kindle? Why can't I afford these books? I just want to go sit somewhere and read these books. Every day I leave the house, go sit somewhere, read them with good music playing in the background, specifically soft rock or country, I don't know, something that is just soothing, and you even forget that there's something playing in the background, but you can still hear those words. Like, yo, there are moments when I'm listening to music and I'm reading something, and that music infuses with the story that I'm reading, and oof, it just creates magic. I'm telling you, like This is how much I love reading books, guys, because hey, yo, it's just an amazing feeling that I get. And yeah, I need to get money to be able to create a book club. We don't have to meet personally, by the way, because that's more expenses of, I don't know where to go, what to eat, blah, blah, blah. We can just do it at home. And if I had the money to also just buy like wine, sweet red wine, put a glass on the table, and just while we're doing this talking about these books, I read them and I write my points down so that we can discuss them and stuff like that. This is why I need a writing class or something, or just a literature class where we can just talk about books and fall in love with them and stuff like that. I regret this, the only part I regret about being born in Kenya and going to school in Kenya. I feel like if I was born in a country like, I don't like say the US, but maybe the US or the UK, I would have fallen in love with literature even more because I was in love with literature in school. I loved English so, so much. But I just feel like if I was in a country where you read Jane Austen and all these other creators, I would have been like Anastasia still. You fall in love with these people and their writing. Shakespeare, not so much because that English is stressful. But even that, it's just so amazing. But I leave that for the theater and stuff, which is still something I'm interested in because I love everything about it. But it's just the reading stuff and the talking about it, the getting to understand the author's mind, where they were coming from, what they were trying to say, the hidden things that they didn't write about, but you could read up in between the lines and just like kuchambua. I don't know if you understand this. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, book lovers, oh my God, if you're there, if you're listening to this, if you're there and you're listening to this and you want to form like an authentic book club that we can meet on Zoom or something, even WhatsApp has a feature where we can all call each other, like a couple of people, and we just talk about a particular book that we read that week. I would love it. Honestly, I just need to discuss the books I'm reading because there's this feeling I get when I'm reading and I tend to look around me and I'm like, I'm alone. Nobody is feeling what I'm feeling right now. Nobody is understanding this feeling that I'm feeling. Well, at the moment, because there's somebody else somewhere who read it at a different time, or maybe even there's somebody reading it at that particular moment. We're reading the same part at the same time, and they're also reacting the way I'm reacting. And you just can't do anything about it. And then you read these books like the game changer ones, and then you go online and somebody else says something different because they watched something, and you just want to scream at them like, you have to read the books so that you can understand what they were saying. There's something hidden in the way they were acting that is supposed to do this and that and that and that. Oh my God, like this is why I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to discuss these books with. So if you're there, as I was saying, reach out. Tell me that you want to join. It does not matter where you are. We can do a Zoom one and we can just be talking about books. I just want to hear other people talk about books the way I talk about them to myself and just feel all giddy and happy and feel like, clapping your hands and I don't know, jumping sometimes. Like I've read something sometimes and I just put my phone down first and I sit up and I'm like, what? Because the way that person wrote that part, oh my God. I think I'm more in love with writers than even the stories sometimes. Because as much as this story, you're falling in love with that book and the way it's written, the person who wrote them is somebody who thought about this thing. Whether it's from real life or it was just fiction, they were just thinking about it. You're like, you're as crazy as I am because I would have done this exactly the same thing. And it's a character who's doing it, but it's an author somewhere who thought about it and wrote it. And you're like, you and I, unagi. Like Ross from Friends, like you and I, our minds, same place. We are at the same place. Because Whew, okay, I can probably talk about this forever. I'm seeing that I've already hit minute 43, so I have to stop. Essentially, what I'm saying is, book lovers, if you're out there and you want to form like a book club or something, as long as you're open-minded, I do not want judgmental people, and you love fiction and you love romance, hit me up. Let's start a book club. Let's be talking about these things. Let's be discussing them. Because I just need people who are like me in a way, who are weird a little bit, who are a little bit weird, who love weird things, who fall in love with these romance characters and romantic books and all of these things. And you just feel like you're there and you're immersing yourself in the story. And like me, if you can be listening to music while you're reading and then you just infuse the two and it's just magic, reach out. I need people to be doing this with me because I need people to be feeling as happy as I do when we read. And I know there are people who do that out there. It's that I can't reach them all. And I need to. I need to have people who we can be discussing books. Because right now, honestly, I need to discuss the Game Changer books with somebody. Anybody. As long as they're willing to just swoon over these characters and be like, oh my God, and just fall in love with the author, Rachel Reed, I need them. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Tell me in the comment section if you agree with me, if you're a book lover one, and if you agree with me that every book lover out there needs to be in a book club to be discussing. And if you just, I don't know, what's the latest book you read or something, just tell me something about books and about your love for them, and which one you fell in love with first, which one is the best, which one you have read and reread, because I've read and reread a couple of books, a couple of them, especially right now, that before I realized that you can just download some stories from online. Like, there are a couple of books, the ones that I had from a long time ago, I would miss reading and just go back to one of them that I fell in love with a long time ago and read them. There are books that I've read even 5-6 times, and I never get tired of them. I just never do. So tell me if you're the kind of person who does that, okay? And while you're doing that, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first people to come and watch, okay? Bye-bye now.